Welcome to the commentary for Bad Choices. Bad Choices. I actually use this letter, this Dr. Tracy letter, in my class here in San Francisco, and we chatted about this topic a little bit. And what we talked about was the question, why do people make the same bad choices again and again and again? So, for example, at the bottom of the letter, she says, I was married to a cheating man, her first husband, and then she said, I hooked up with another cheating man, and I wonder, is it just my bad choices in men? And, there are a lot of people like this. When I was a social worker, for example, before I became a teacher, I had this kind of client all the time. I'll give you the very strong example. Some women always date men who abuse them, who hurt them, who hit them. And it happens again and again and again. So they date one man, and the man, hits them, and finally they leave this man. And the next guy they date, after a few months, maybe after 6 months or 7 months, he starts to hit them. And then they stay with him for a long time, they break up, and then again, they really not happy, and they finally find another guy. He seems so nice. You meet him, he seems very polite, but guess what happens? 6 months, 7 months later, he also abuses her, hits her. And it was a serious question. That's a very serious situation, obviously. And I would always ask, what's happening here? Why are they choosing the same kind of guy again and again and again? And, of course, we all do this sometimes. I think most of us have something in our life that's not working, right? That never works. There's just some part of our life, and we continue to make the same bad choices again and again and again. My personal example, a small example, is eating sugar. I always eat chocolate and bad stuff. And I know it's bad for me, and I try to stop eating it, but then every night, I go and I'll eat some more chocolate, and then I'll say, no, this is bad, I shouldn't do this. And then, maybe I'll try 1 week to be healthy, and I only eat good food, and then finally, I get some chocolate again, or I get something sweet. So this is my own thing. And of course, with me, there's some physical part too. It's a little bit of a sugar addiction. But a lot of us have these kind of behaviors in our life, and it happens a lot in relationships. People choose other people who have a similar problem, and it repeats again and again and again and again. And, it's not always conscious. Sometimes people would get angry at the women, for example, when I was a social worker. Why do these women do this? Why do they always choose these men? And they blame the woman. And of course, it is happening. The woman is doing this. She is choosing these men, but it's usually unconscious. Okay, the woman is not thinking, I want to find a man who hits me. Okay, of course not. They don't want that. But there's something unconscious, possibly something from their childhood, their own parents, some experiences, possibly something else, that they unconsciously are attracted to something about these men. And also these men are attracted to something about them or about these kind of women. And it usually has kind of a deep psychological root. It's not just so simple as, why do they do this? They don't realize they're doing it, or they realize it, but they don't know why it's happening. So it's quite serious, and it really is a very serious problem. And some women do break that. Now, some women will, if they have an abusive boyfriend who hurts them, it's not this kind of situation. Sometimes they have one, and they say, never again, and they never again date someone like that. Because, men who are like this, it's not like in the beginning, they're always very sweet and polite. I worked at a shelter for women who were abused. So this house, we would let the women and the children come and live in the house to escape the men, help them find a job and help them find another place away from the man. And, I got to hear a lot of stories about these men, and I even met some of them. And the thing about there's kind of a cycle with abuse like this. And in the beginning, these men are always very sweet and romantic. In fact, they even more than normal. If you meet them just the first time, hi, how are you? Many times they seem like they're just so great. Wow, they're so nice. They're so romantic. And when the women first date them, these men are like, always saying super nice things and giving them gifts, lots and lots of attention. And then slowly, a little bit later, after they date longer, they start to control a little bit more, right? They don't like the woman's friends, so they try to make the woman get rid of her friends. And then they separate the woman from her family. They want just the woman and him, just them, nobody else. So the woman becomes more isolated, more alone, only with the man. And then finally, after many months, the man might hit her the first time. It doesn't happen in the beginning right away. So these women are not stupid. It's hard to know sometimes. But anyway, there is some kind of dynamic, some kind of psychological thing happening where why do they keep getting with these kind of men? I think more personally we might think about, and maybe you could write about in the forums, think about what kind of problems do you have in your life that keep happening again and again. Somehow you unconsciously are choosing this kind of situation, or you're making it worse. I've mentioned my sugar problem is an example, and it just keeps happening again and again, no matter what I do. And Tomoe yells at me and tells me to stop doing that, right? She's shaking her head, yes. So think about that. Why do you continue to make bad choices sometimes in your life? And what bad choices do you usually make? What parts of your life do you do this? And why do you think this is happening? Now later, I'm going to do a lesson with an article by a man named Bill Ferguson. And he actually has a few articles about this exact topic. And he talks about why people do this. And even better, he talks about how you can solve this kind of problem, how you can break the cycle, you can break the pattern and stop making these choices again and again. Very interesting. His name is Bill Ferguson. Do a Google search for him. Bill, B-I-L-L, and Ferguson is his last name. I'm trying to remember how to spell Ferguson. But anyway, this guy was a very interesting guy. He was a divorce lawyer. So he was helping people get divorced. But he didn't like it. He didn't like it because, all the people were just fighting all the time. And he thought that he should try to help people have a better relationship. So he's instead of helping people get divorced and fight, he started trying to help people talk and figure out their problems. So if they did get a divorce, they would be friends. They could have a calm breakup, basically, and they wouldn't hate each other. There wouldn't be all these terrible, angry, nasty, negative emotions. And when he started to do this, it started to work. He was helping a lot of people, so he decided to become a counselor. And I think he was on Oprah's TV show a few times. But anyway, go to his website. His name is Bill Ferguson, B-I-L-L, and his last name is F-E-R-G-U-S-O-N, Bill Ferguson. His website is called Mastery of Life, so it's www.masteryoflife.com. So www.masteryoflife.com. Mastery of Life, 3 words together. Anyways, he's got some interesting articles on there, and I will use some of his articles for a future lesson. All right, so that's all. Go to the forums. Try to write a little bit. Write about this topic. What should this woman do? Write about your own life. What problems do you have in your life that happen again and again? All right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.